Soy Wei Wei Lan.
David Durán.
Me llamo Carolina Cerezo Dávila.
Yo soy Ramón Souto.
Bluen.
Sono Pablo Coelho.
Sono Stefano Pierini.
My name is Bassem Al-Khouri.
My name is Neva Özgen.
Ali Reza Ferhang.
Thanasis Deligiannis.
Yang Xue.
My name is Artyom Kim.
Naomi Sato.
I'm Joel Bons.
Vengo da Torino.
De China.
Sono de Vigo.
I come from Syria.
I'm coming from Turkey, Istanbul.
Yo soy malagueña.
I was born in Iran.
Greece.
China.
Uzbekistan.
Japan.
From Amsterdam, Holland.
Sono pianista in Vertixe Sonora Ensemble, che è un gruppo residente de Sonutopias.
Soy compositora, o bueno, por lo menos se intenta.
Toco el arpa y vengo de Bretaña, en Francia.
Toco la pipa china.
And I am qanun player.
Sono saxofonista e director musical de Vertixe Sonora.
Soy el director artístico de Vertixe Sonora y además soy compositor.
I am a contemporary music composer.
In Atlas, I am assistant of Joel Bons.
The conductor of the Atlas Ensemble.
I started the whole group. I'm a composer and I was running the Nieuw Ensemble as artistic director, which is a contemporary music group.
Llámase Sonutopias, va a ser un proyecto para 4 años, entonces esto es Sonutopias 2013. Pertence a un proyecto matriz que Campus Culturae.
Sonutopias Campus Culturae se llama, sí.
Campus Culturae é un proxecto da Universidade de Santiago de Compostela cofinanciado pola Axencia da Cultura da Unión Europea. Os principais argumentos, as liñas temáticas básicas do proxecto son a diversidade cultural, as minorías, o diálogo intercultural e a integración na cultura das persoas en risco de exclusión social.
Este proxecto Sonutopias intenta crear un vínculo entre as diferentes culturas, ¿no? Sobre todo as occidentais e non occidentais.
Pues sí, es un poco esa idea, no sé, la utopía es como eso que siempre persigues y no lo puedes encontrar, pero de alguna manera en esta especie de entorno un poco idílico, digamos, que estamos aquí, estamos haciendo música, pues hay determinadas barreras que ya no existen.
Penso che sia un progetto estremamente interessante perché porta a conoscenza e l'idea è quella di riuscire a trovare una forma di integrazione non solo degli strumenti ma anche delle culture musicali.
It's not only a musical or cultural event, it's really the communication and the cooperation and, among people. So that's the most important thing among this project.
It's a great project, I think, and I think we should have much more this kind of project in Europe, in the West, on all the world, of course.
This festival is really something very, very interesting.
It's a very good combination, and it's very nice to be in part of the project.
É tamén unha mistura de culturas dun xeito moi inmediato e auténtico que creo que representa tamén moi ben esta utopía que non é utopía que se propón nestas xornadas ou encontros internacionais de Sonutopias.
O meu instrumento se adapta moi ben a ese tipo de escritura, de sonoridade, de sexualidade na maneira de tocar. Eu personalmente me sinto moi cómodo facendo. Poder traballar nunha agrupación como Vertixe, ser o director musical e tocar o saxofón para mí é un privilexio, porque é un instrumento con moito peso dentro da agrupación.
Nosotros somos un grupo de música contemporánea de aquí de Galicia. Está formado por artistas sonoros, por intérpretes de diferentes instrumentos y con un amor, una pasión desmedida hacia la música contemporánea. El grupo surge con esa vocación de relacionar nuestro territorio con el resto del mundo a través de la música, ¿no?
O concerto non é o fin, sino que realmente é un medio.
Empezamos a las 9, ¿no, Ramón? Sí. Nos dará tiempo.
Tenemos mucho la experiencia de trabajar con compositores del extranjero que encuentran en nuestra agrupación una forma de proyectar su trabajo.
There is a concert and Vertixe Sonora is going to play one of my pieces. 10 years ago I went to Paris, now I live in Paris, and Paris is home. But at the same time I'm really connected to my culture. So maybe I feel more Iranian in Paris than what I was in Iran. The contemporary music is completely open to any other culture, but you just need to know how to use the elements, if you want to use your culture, of course, how to use these elements in your music. For a while, I needed a kind of distance from my musical culture, from Persian music. But now I think I'm completely feel free to use all elements coming from Persian music to my music.
The contemporary composers are composing for us all around the world, like Azerbaijan, Chinese from China, Syria and Japan and Turkey.
¿Qué intentas cuando compones? Pues es muy abstracto, no intentas, por lo menos yo no intento a lo mejor plasmar un mensaje determinado. Intentas un poco expresar pues lo que, un poco a nivel de sentimientos o de emociones más abstractas, lo que determinadas cosas te transmiten.
Tenemos muchas partituras donde incluyen una parte de improvisación, que eso es algo al cual no estoy para nada acostumbrada, y ahí ves los límites también en la formación de un músico clásico, y eso abre mucho la mente y da ganas también de hacer nuevas experiencias.
When musicians learn from each other and the musician learn from the composer, opposite the same.
Sometimes I don't use any Persian instruments, but still the music is kind of influenced by Persian music.
Alessandra igual está arriba escuchando eso.
Now you are here, but for next rehearsal.
Pues el arpa es un instrumento un poco aparte porque en la orquesta están los instrumentos de cuerda, los instrumentos de viento, los instrumentos de percusión, y un poco aparte siempre queda el arpa, que es al fin y al cabo una especie de piano, pero que también tiene mucho parentesco con la guitarra y es un instrumento un poco híbrido. En la nueva literatura musical de la música contemporánea y todo esto, los compositores suelen utilizar el arpa de manera interesante porque tiene muchísima posibilidad, o sea, tanto un lenguaje así muy dulce y muy como el cliché que todos conocemos, pero también puede ser un instrumento con otro carácter totalmente diferente, agresivo o incisivo, así diferente.
Normalmente te interesa el timbre, te interesan ciertos aspectos que estos instrumentos pues de repente se te amplía un campo enorme de posibilidades.
There's a wonderful variety, and for a composer that's like, these boxes of pencils with all colors. Well, in the West we have a box like this, but the world is like this. So as a composer you have all these fantastic colors and you can create a great orchestra with new sounds of old instruments, combinations.
With this kind of project, we go to play in like new music with the traditional instrument.
We're doing the new interpretation to the old things, to the traditional things, with the viewpoint of the people of nowadays.
Louder? Otherwise, I'm going to shout.
For me, it's like the re-understanding to to the Chinese culture, to the Chinese traditional music.
We cannot keep the traditional music. We can go and develop and then find everything. So we try all the time. So yesterday night, we have a special concert, a short concert in here. I think it's very good idea. We play own solo piece, then play the folk music of Spanish. So it's amazing.
Bienvenido. Welcome everybody. We are so happy to have you here with us. We are going to play some music for you. We come from all over the world, from China, from Syria, from Azerbaijan, from Austria, from Holland, and from Japan.
When I play some music, it can touching your heart very much.
Atlas Ensemble is the tar from Azerbaijan, which has a very long neck, and it is different in a way that it's built for the mugam music that they make in Azerbaijan.
It was a very unusual situation for me. It was for the first time like this, playing in this kind of set on balconies to the public which is sitting on the street. It was very special, but I really loved it.
In every corner of the world you find people who start singing, picking a piece of bamboo, trying to make a flute out of it, or they're always creating instruments. And you have all these variants, but they're also connected because they have the same principles, like stringed instruments or blowing or percussion instruments.
And then we do Caroline somewhere else. Where is the balls?
We think piano, flute, guitar, oboe, violin, these are the instruments. But there are thousands of instruments all over the world, and with very long histories. And actually our instruments are not originally from Western Europe, but they have ancestors in the Middle East.
It's the most important and widely instrument in China. It has a long history. It sounds like a human voice.
And since we work together with Chinese composers and Chinese musicians, we could easily work together already with my group New Ensemble from the West and Chinese musicians. So I thought, okay, we have Far East and West, and both of us have in common the Middle East, because we have these instruments that come from there. For instance, the oud, the famous lute, is the father of the guitar and the mandolin in the West, and the lute, of course. But in China, it's the pipa. So you can see that they are family, really. Like, you know, like you have your own family with your brother, and they have the similar, but they are different. Is called pipa because it is plucked instrument, pipa, up and down, and it can bend the tones like in Chinese language. In Chinese language you have these glissandos like chow, piao, pow, and that's the same what they do in the language, in the music. So the instrument has adopted the Chineseness into the instrument, and every instrument embodies the culture where it comes from.
My instrument, in fact, it was introduced from Persian world through the Silk Road around Tang Dynasty. And of course, it developed a lot through 1,000 years. Through the multicultural project, I realized I refound the value of my instrument. The instrument is not only the instrument, because the representer is the key of the whole thing.
The canon is like this, and it has always for one tone 3 strings. And in that sense, it's actually similar to the piano. The piano is a child of the canon. So canon was first, and they adopted this system.
It's a string instrument, a lot of strings, and we play with the black tom with it, also with the fingers. This traditional instrument, what I said, it's used a lot in the Middle East, Arabic country, and Far East also. normally is really traditional instrument, you know, how you say that, like the guitar in Spain. Create new things, you know, you get a new color, new sounds, you know. All this instrument, exotic instrument together, playing with the marimba and the oboe, with the piano, with the violin, with the kanun, with the duduk, you know, like all this mixed instrument together, yeah, you get really beautiful and very nice sound together.
And what is wonderful about the kanun is that you have little tuning pegs where you have in one tone you can make the string slightly bigger, longer or shorter, so you can by just tuning it, so they can make very refined microtonal music, not like our system, which is like, you know, the piano with 12 tones. They have tones in between all these tones, so it's a really very beautiful, refined system.
Benim adım Elçin, familyam Nagiyev, Ağaşırınoğlu.
He says, my name is Elçin Nagiyev. I am the teacher of conservatory in Baku, and I teach mugam, which is Azerbaijani traditional music, and I play tar.
Just talk about the rehearsal schedule for tomorrow. My instrument has to be dry all the time. So then avoiding the condensation inside of the instrument, I have to heat up the instrument all the time. So the instrument, inside of the instrument should stay warmer than my breathing.
Oh, sorry.
I play the show, which is the mouth organ. It has many bamboo pipes and a metal reed. It's a family of harmonica, so I can play with blowing and taking a breath, both directions of the breath. And yeah, so can make very long sound with both direction of the breath. It's a very traditional instrument. It came from China in 7th century, and since then we are using for the court music, which is for the emperor, and also used for Shintoism or like a Buddhism, which is the religions.
I play a Turkish instrument, very special Turkish instrument, which is called kemençe. It's a very Turkish classical music traditional instrument.
Interesting is also that Azerbaijan is in Caucasus, and Armenia is also in Caucasus, where you have the duduk, the wonderful melancholy apricot wood instrument. And the people of Azerbaijan and Armenia, they are big enemies. They all fight all the time. But culturally, they're one. So they can make music together.
Y el primer ensayo que tuve aquí hace 3 días ahora o 2 era con el show y con el duduk y me pareció tan bonito poder ver estos instrumentos en directo.
And that's something amazing from this, that's why it's a little bit utopia. So Sonutopias, and we also are a kind of utopian model society. Also not only musical, but also humanly.
Cultura, educación, humanismo, es todo lo mismo, o sea, son diferentes imágenes de una misma realidad.
O eixo central e o gran atractivo é a agrupación invitada, que é o Atlas Ensemble, que ten como base en Holanda, en Amsterdam, pero bueno, é unha agrupación moi especial porque reúne instrumentos de diferentes culturas, de Xapón, de China, Turquía, Azerbaiyán. Esta particularidade ou singularidade do Atlas Ensemble polos instrumentos que o forman fai que todo o repertorio sexa especialmente composto para eles.
I'm also a composer for this ensemble. I worked with them quite a long time ago, actually. I believe about 10 years.
Componer para el Atlas Ensemble es la segunda vez que compongo para ellos. Y me gusta mucho trabajar con instrumentos tradicionales porque en este tipo de culturas normalmente la música tiene una función mucho más arraigada en la sociedad en algunos aspectos que la nuestra, porque la nuestra ya está todo como muy especializado, muy comercializado y la función es un poco distinta. Entonces, no sé, componer para este tipo de formaciones es como que te conecta con otras cosas, ¿no? Por lo menos yo lo pienso así.
In general, all the sound is being much more better today. I mean, probably everybody has matured a bit of thinking about it.
Also, we have idea
Yeah,
how it
the
sounds.
general,
Then
yeah.
now it's okay. This could be like that.
Yeah, very well.
Trabajé con ellos por primera vez el verano pasado en Ámsterdam, en el Atlas Academy que ellos hacen. Entonces dejan que vayan compositores de todas partes del mundo que se quieran inscribir para asistir a charlas, conocer los instrumentos y demás, y componer para formaciones mixtas, que es también lo que hemos hecho aquí. Conocí el proyecto por internet, me llamó mucho la atención y pues nada, decidí inscribirme y estuve allí el verano pasado y la verdad es que la experiencia fue súper enriquecedora.
È in Olanda che ho conosciuto l'Atlas Ensemble tramite il mio insegnante e poi sono venuto a contatto di Joel Bones che mi ha coinvolto per le prime attività dell'Atlas Ensemble in cui c'era questa novità di lavorare con degli strumentisti, dei musicisti che arrivavano da paesi lontani, con tradizioni diverse, con una cultura musicale diversa dalla nostra.
We started long time ago and we worked with composers from all over the world. And so not only from Europe but also from outside of Europe, which was quite special. I went in '88 to China and I met all young composers who were completely unknown. And we worked a lot together with Chinese composers and then we asked them also to include sometimes a Chinese instrument. It was first I had the idea to collect all the beautiful instruments of all the world, but that would be an enormous orchestra. So I had to limit myself and make it also practical. imagine if we could live together like we are living together in Atlas and making music together and not fighting but doing something beautiful.
I was taking part in the Atlas Academy and Atlas Ensemble, the project for 4 years. We located in Amsterdam. The meaning and the goal of Atlas is just to mix different culture and to explore a new language, a new expression way in present.
Non só unha mistura de diferentes rexións xeográficas e culturas, sino incluso unha mistura no tempo, non? Estamos falando de instrumentos dunha tradición milenaria, como a pipa china ou o sho japonés, con instrumentos dunha tradición moito máis recente, como pode ser o saxofón ou o meu instrumento o piano.
I think always, if you see how history was created, it's always where two different things come together and then create this new thing.
Hice mucha música tradicional cuando era pequeña, al ser bretona y todo esto, y la manera que tienen de ver la música pues es totalmente diferente a la manera que tenemos de ver la música los músicos clásicos de aquí. Y creo que esta mezcla es interesante, o sea, es una experiencia que puede aportarnos mucho de un lado como de otro.
The music which we hear from radio and from television normally makes us more primitive. It injects more primitive pulsation into us, and also film industry and soap operas industry, television actually make us to be more primitive in our emotions. And this is really terrible process, I find. This project is one of the possible ways how to solve this problem, what to do with it, because all the musicians are getting new influences, new concepts of sound, new colors. We really develop our ears, we really develop our emotions, we develop our knowledge, and this is, in the end of all, this is for us to survive in this world. So this is, for me, this is the most important meaning of this kind of projects, and especially Soundutopia project.
Muchas veces las sensibilidades están un poco dormidas o atrofiadas, y en ese sentido hay que desarrollar un tipo de trabajo que permita despertar esa creatividad, esa sensibilidad que todos tenemos.
It's really important to observe how these cultures influenced each other and how this interaction is being processed.
It's a very interesting meeting because your musicians here, most of them didn't know these instruments, and it's a kind of big adventure. Will it click? But since we are all musicians, we understand each other even if we don't understand our language. You know, some of us speak only Russian or Chinese or whatever, and so you have to communicate through the music.
Atlas Ensemble me parece una idea muy bonita y muy interesante, sobre todo muchos de los instrumentos del Atlas Ensemble los había estudiado en la universidad o los había visto en vídeos, en fotos, pero nunca los había visto tocado en directo. Y ver cómo esas dos familias pueden estar a veces muy alejadas, pero a veces se pueden volver a encontrar.
Es una experiencia muy enriquecedora a nivel humano, porque conoces gente muy distinta, pues gente que viene de culturas y de conceptos que no tienen nada que ver con el tuyo, incluso la manera que tienen de pensar respecto a la música.
The musicians from many different countries together and then try to collaborate to each other.
So there's a lot of more connections to all the local cultures everywhere around the world. And I think one of the beautiful things of music is that it's so universal.
I think we don't know what happened, but we find every time and every music. So from to Japan, China, to Europe, and I think it's some different and some similars. It's strange and amazing.
This diversity is very, very beautiful.
It's very important to preserve the identity, but at the same time be open to what is new.
All the traditional music instruments combined under the contemporary music. That's all, and I'm very happy to play with them.
É a combinación de instrumentos non occidentais con instrumentos occidentais, que son os que nos utilizamos, pero como xa comentei antes, está ese hilo común que ao final parece que todo se mezcla, ¿no? Cando un escoita a música xaponesa tradicional parece que hai cousas na música contemporánea que tamén ocurren dese mismo xeito, non? Penso que o concerto de presentación con Vertixe Sonora e o concerto de clausura con Vertixe Sonora e Atlas Ensemble mostra como dúas caras da mesma moeda.
Bueno, tivemos a Atlas Ensemble, tivemos a oportunidade de escoitalos onte a estes solistas nun formato dos seus instrumentos orixinais, a música que foi feita para esses instrumentos e nos instrumentos que foron feitos para esa música. Hoxe o que vamos a escoitar esos instrumentos sacados de contexto en un formato de música contemporánea mesturados cos instrumentos occidentais e modernos. Entón, eu creo que este é o punto álxido porque a experimentación que propón Sonutopias é precisamente esa.
We have traditional music on the streets and in the church, but then we also have new music with composers writing for it. So we have together this kind of experience of what is this? We have to discover what the composer had in his mind, and we have to translate it into music. It's a very special process that a composer has an imagination, puts it down in little dots on the paper, and we have, as musicians, to decode it and make it, transmit it to the audience. It's a strange process, and that's very interesting to work on this, because you have to discover the music behind the little dots on the paper, and then make it clear for the audience, and I hope people like it. Duduk I was explaining with this melancholy sound, but it is a double reed instrument which is similar to the oboe and also a little bit similar to the clarinet. It's in between. So if you take this example, and then we have an alto flute, so we have these colors of the wind instruments, and then we have strings like the Western violin and the cello and the viola, but we have kemençe from Turkey and arhu from China. So these are all variants of the same instrument, and we hear the similarities and the differences, and all brought together. You hear composers' ideas about all these colors in sometimes a very soft and sweet piece, sometimes a very aggressive and strange piece, sometimes a very new sound world, sometimes a very melodic sound world. So you have a very big variety of pieces. This musician can improvise very well. That musician can play very well from notes. How do I combine them? This musician has a Middle Eastern tuning, this musician has a Western tuning. So you have to find solutions and be very inventive to create interesting music. Actually, it's very obvious, but music unites people. Not only the people who make the music, but also people who listen to music. If you see pop concerts or world music concerts or classical concerts even, you see a mixture of audiences that are all silently listening very carefully to the beauty on stage. It's actually one of the most beautiful things in our lives, I think.
Take a place, each music that you can imagine.
Para mí la música es ese puente que une cosas que a lo mejor están separadas.
Is it evolution or is it involution? Our technique is developing in an incredibly fast way, but what's going on with us as human beings? Are we getting more complex in our feelings? I really suffer because of this, and these musicians help me to do something with it, to survive.
The fact that nowadays all cultures are getting closer and closer is really important, that we pay attention to this phenomenon.
And everybody has to find his own way what to do with it.
Soy saxofonista y director musical de Vertixe Sonora.
Soy el director artístico de Vertixe Sonora y además soy compositor.
I am a contemporary music composer.
In Atlas, I am assistant of Joel Bons.
The conductor of the Atlas Ensemble.
I started the whole group. I'm a composer and I was running the Nieuw Ensemble as artistic director, which is a contemporary music group.
Chámase Sonutopias, va a ser un proxecto para 4 anos, entonces isto é Sonutopias 2013, pertence a un proxecto matriz que é Campus Culturae.
Sonutopias Campus Culturae se llama, sí.
Campus Culturae é un proxecto da Universidade de Santiago de Compostela cofinanciado pola Axencia da Cultura da Unión Europea. Os principais argumentos, as liñas temáticas básicas do proxecto son a diversidade cultural, as minorías, o diálogo intercultural e a integración na cultura das persoas en risco de exclusión social.
Este proxecto Sonutopias intenta crear un vínculo entre as diferentes culturas, ¿no? Sobre todo as occidentais e non occidentais.
Pues sí, es un poco esa idea, no sé, la utopía es como eso que siempre persigues y no lo puedes encontrar, pero de alguna manera en esta especie de entorno un poco idílico, digamos, que estamos...
Soy Wei Wei Lan.
David Durán.
Me llamo Carolina Cerezo Dávila.
Yo soy Ramón Souto.
Bluen.
Son Pablo Coelho.
Sono Stefano Pierini.
My name is Bassem Al-Khouri.
My name is Neva Özgen.
Ali Reza Farhang.
Thanasis Deligiannis.
Yang Xue.
My name is Artyom Kim.
Naomi Sato.
I'm Joel Bons.
Vengo da Torino.
De China.
Son de Vigo.
I come from Syria.
I'm coming from Turkey, Istanbul.
Yo soy malagueña.
I was born in Iran.
Greece.
China.
Uzbekistan.
Japan.
From Amsterdam, Holland.
Son pianista en Vertixe Sonora Ensemble, que é o grupo residente de Sonutopias.
Soy compositora, o bueno, por lo menos se intenta.
Toco el arpa y vengo de Bretaña, en Francia.
Toco la pipa china.
And I am qanun player.
De tocar, ¿no? Eu personalmente me sinto moi cómodo facendo. Poder traballar nunha agrupación como Vertixe, ser o director musical e tocar o saxofón para mí é un privilexio, ¿no? Porque é un instrumento con moito peso dentro da agrupación.
Nosotros somos un grupo de música contemporánea de aquí de Galicia, está formado por artistas sonoros, por intérpretes de diferentes instrumentos y con un amor, bueno, una pasión desmedida hacia la música contemporánea. El grupo surge con esa vocación de relacionar nuestro territorio con el resto del mundo a través de la música, ¿no?
O concerto non é o fin, ¿no? Sino que realmente é un medio.
Empezamos a las 9, ¿no, Ramón? Sí. Nos dará tiempo.
Tenemos mucho la experiencia de trabajar con compositores del extranjero que encuentran en nuestra agrupación una forma de proyectar su trabajo.
There is a concert and Vertixe Sonora is going to play one of my pieces. 10 years ago I went to Paris, now I live in Paris, and Paris is home. But at the same time I'm really connected to my culture. So maybe I feel more Iranian in Paris than what I was in Iran. The contemporary music is completely open to any other culture, but you just need to know how to use the elements, if you want to use your culture, of course, how to use these elements in your music. For a while, I needed a kind of distance from my musical culture, from Persian music. But now I think I'm completely feel free to use all elements coming from Persian music to my music.
The contemporary composers are composing for us all around the world, like Azerbaijan, Chinese from China, Syria and Japan and Turkey.
¿Qué intentas cuando compones? Pues es muy abstracto, no intentas, por lo menos yo no intento a lo mejor plasmar un mensaje determinado. Intentas un poco expresar pues lo que un poco a nivel de pues aquí estamos haciendo música, pues hay determinadas barreras que ya no existen.
Penso che sia un progetto estremamente interessante perché porta a conoscenza e l'idea è quella di riuscire a trovare una forma di integrazione non solo degli strumenti ma anche delle culture musicali.
It's not only a musical or culture event, it's really the communication and the cooperation and among people. So that's the most important thing among this project.
It is a great project, I think, and I think we should have much more this kind of project in Europe, in the West, on all the world, of course.
This festival is really something very, very interesting.
It's very good combination, and it's very nice to be in part of the project.
É tamén unha mistura de culturas dun xeito moi inmediato e auténtico que creo que representa tamén moi ben esta utopía que non é utopía que se propón nestas xornadas ou encontros internacionais de Sonutopias.
O meu instrumento se adapta moi ben a ese tipo de escritura, de sonoridade, de sexualidade na maneira de